Hello, welcome back. We'll continue with Los encouraging his sons to have faith that Milton is not a problem. He's actually going to be a spiritual awakener. As we'll see, hard as he tries, they're not convinced. Los is afraid that he'll be left on his own because so many of his sons have already gone and they've descended down into the world of generation, which is, of course, human life in the sense of living in a time of history. What looks like Menasha in the text seems to be pronounced Manasseh, and it was meant to mean caused to forget, in the sense of caused to forget all his troubles. But in his life in the Bible, I guess what it really come to mean was come to forget God. Now, Los describes himself as one of the last Zoas, in the sense that he's the manifestation of Orthona on this lower level. On that highest level of the Eternals, all four Zoas are still there. But down in this more fallen state, um, the four exists there all right, but only Los is given the responsibility for trying to raise humankind from vegetated beings to creative, fulfilled beings. Blake uses the term vehicular body when he's speaking about Lazarus, and he means it in the sense that Lazarus's resurrection carries the sense of the resurrection of Albion. But of course, the resurrection of Lazarus did not bring in salvation. It was hijacked by the Apostle Paul and three other, for want of a better word, directors of religion going forward. So, hopefully that's enough then to get a start on the reading. Remember how Calvin and Luther, in fury premature, sowed war and stern division between Papists and Protestants. Let it not be so now. O go not forth in martyrdoms and wars. We were placed here by the universal brotherhood and mercy, with powers fitted to circumscribe this dark satanic death, and that the seven eyes of God may have space for redemption. But how this is as yet we know not, and we cannot know till Albion is arisen. Then patient, wait a little while. 6,000 years are passed away, the end approaches fast. This mighty one is come from Eden. He is of the elect, who died from earth, and he is returned before the judgment. This thing was never known, that one of the holy dead should willing return. Then patient wait a little while till the last vintage is over, till we have quenched the son of Salah in the lake of Udan. O my dear sons, leave not your father, as your brethren left me. 12 sons successive fled away in that 1,000 years of sorrow, of Palamabron's harrow, and of Rintra's wrath and fury. Reuben and Manazoth, and Gad and Simeon and Levi, and Ephraim and Judah were generated, because they left me wandering with Tirzah. Enotharmon wept 1,000 years, and all the earth was in a watery deluge. We called him Manasseh because of the generations of Tirzah, because of Satan, and the seven eyes of God continually guard around them. But I, the fourth Zoa, am also set the watchman of eternity. The three are not, and I am preserved. Still, my four mighty ones are left to me in Golgonooza. Still Rintrah fierce, and Palamabron mild and piteous, Theotormon filled with care, Bromion loving science. You, O my sons, still guard round Los. O wander not and leave me. Rintrah, Thou well rememberest when Amalek and Canaan fled with their sister Moab into that abhorred void. They became nations in our sight beneath the hands of Tirzah. And Palamabron, thou rememberest when Joseph, an infant, stolen from his nurse's cradle wrapped in needlework of emblematic texture, was sold to the Amalekite, who carried him down into Egypt, where Ephraim and Manasseh guarded my sons together in the sands of Midian. For if you also flee away and leave your father's side, following Milton into your Ulro, although your power is great, surely you also shall become poor mortal vegetations beneath the moon of Ulro. Pity then your father's tears. When Jesus raised Lazarus from the grave, I stood and saw Lazarus, who is the vehicular body of Albion the redeemed, arise into the covering cherub, who is the spectre of Albion, by martyrdoms to suffer, to watch over the sleeping body upon his rock beneath his tomb. I saw the covering cherub divide fourfold into four churches when Lazarus arose. Paul, Constantine, Charlemagne, Luther, behold, I stand before us, stretched over Europe and Asia. Come, O sons, come, come away. Arise, O sons, give all your strength against eternal death, lest we are vegetated. For Cathedron's looms weave only death, a web of death, and were it not for Beulahula and Alamanda, no human form but only a fibrous vegetation, a polypus of soft affections without thought or vision, must tremble in the heavens and earth through all the Ulro's space. Throw all the vegetated mortals into Beulahula, but as to this elected form who is returned again, he is the signal that the last vintage now approaches. Nor vegetation may go on till all the earth is reaped. So Los spoke. Furiously they descended to Beulahula and Alamanda, indignant, unconvinced by Los's arguments and thunders rolling. They saw that wrath now swayed, and now pity absorbed him. As it was, so it remained, and no hope of an end. Beulahula is named Law by mortals. Tharmas founded it, because of Satan before Luban in the city of Golgonooza. But Golgonooza is named Art and Manufacture by mortal men. I'd like to say a few words about the human geography of Albion. It might be best to start off with a view of our world in the sense of Gaia, sometimes known as Mother Earth, and then to move on from that concept, perhaps, to think in terms of a male, think in terms of a giant, think in terms too of Finnegan in Finnegan's Wake, whose expanse first covers a part of Dublin City and then expands in the dream to encompass the entire world, and in fact the entire world's history. So, in this geographical landscape of a giant cosmic body, there are locations in it where certain functions get done. Just as Mother Earth will maintain itself and its own organism and also create other organisms. In this place, or rather, in this giant body, there are many, many places where works like this are being done. Beulahula was mentioned briefly, and that's the place where the heart and the lungs and the stomach are made. Now Blake introduces Alamanda, where the nervous system is created. And Blake says, without these, all we would be is a vegetable. He adds as well that if his emanation, Tharman, was left to her own devices, she would only create soft creatures with very, very little or no ability for thinking and for action. So why is Balahula called law? Well, I think it's because being a seat of the passions, its counterpart will be law to keep some sort of balance. Blake also mentions Luban, and Luban in the story is the vagina. And while the vagina is a very, very precious instrument in bringing new beings into the world, it's contrasted with Golganuza, who, when the creatures are born, attempts to bring them to perfection. So that's it for this reading. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for being here, and I hope to see you again. Bye for now.